Tweedledee and Tweedledum have a plan today. Here's what you can look forward to on today's Nice Guys on Business.
That's just amazing. When you have to write some huge book of the rules of what to do and what not to do.
Those rules are only being applied to the people that don't know how to follow the rules. If you know how to follow the rules, then you're going to be okay.
That is the core of it right there.
Yeah.
If all of your people know the right thing to do, you don't need to set the rules. And if you have to have some huge book because so many people break the rules, you have the wrong people.
Surely they can't be serious. They are, but don't call them Shirley. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler.
Having a good time on our Thursday episode. That is us.
Have a good time all the time.
That's
Sorry,
true.
that's from Spinal Tap. You know, I haven't made a movie reference in a long time.
It really has been a long time. There's been no Caddyshack references. There's been no nothing. I think I made the last movie reference. It's really bad.
Man, what's up with that? We got to get back to our roots again. I've got to find more movie references.
Got to bring it back home, brother.
Yeah.
Bring it back home. Speaking of bringing it back home, here's what we need everybody to do. I know that 93.7% of you listen on Overcast. Please do us a very quick favor. It'll be very easy, very simple. Click on the cover art. Right behind the cover art, there's a little recommend button. We've said this every day this week. We want to continue this week in keeping this theme active and alive because I think there is just something that we are missing out on. Oh yeah, I know what it is. It's fucking the number one position. That's what we're missing out on. We want to be number one, and Tim Ferriss is standing in our way. We like Tim, but he's got enough. Okay. He's number one like everywhere. Can we just be number one on Overcast? That's all we're looking for. And a couple of dollars too. That would be fine. But we'll take number one to begin with.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, we got to start somewhere. So here's how you do it. Click on the cover art. Right behind the cover art, again, there's a little recommend button. Click that. As soon as you do, a little gold star comes up. Thank you for the gold star. I need it. That validates my actual feeling of goodness and greatness. And if you help me validate that, we will give you better shows. It's just that simple. If you can give us a number one show, we will feel really, really confident with who we are.
So are you saying we're going to slack if we don't get to the number one position?
Well, it's not like we're not slacking all the other days of the week, but we're going to slack less. How about that? Slackless? We'll be slackless.
Slackless.
Do we have a sponsor on today's show, or are we just kind of just cruising, man?
SaneBox. SaneBox.
Oh my gosh, SaneBox.
I've actually signed up and started using SaneBox, and it is exactly what it says. It keeps your inbox sane. It's great. It's really great.
So when I signed up with SaneBox, the reason I did it was because C-Suite Network gave me a special little link. By the way, thank you, C-Suite Network, for allowing us just one more week of being on your on your network. We haven't gotten booted off yet. We're like the redheaded stepchild of the network. It's we're the black hat wearing in an all white hat wearing environment. Yeah, something like that.
To paraphrase, since we got to fill in and catch up from the movie references, right? To paraphrase The Princess Bride, nice work on your podcast today, Nice Guys on Business. I'll most likely kill you tomorrow.
Okay. Second movie reference of the show.
You've seen The Princess Bride, right?
I have. We're not even 4 minutes in. You've made two movie references. You're making up for all.
That's what I'm trying to do. I just want to make sure you understood the reference.
Yeah. So let's just follow the yellow brick road, shall we?
To SaneBox, the yellow brick road to SaneBox.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so get back to SaneBox. So when I joined the C-Suite Network as a guy that's helping them build their podcasting network, one of the things that they gave us, everybody that has an email address with them now, was a subscription to SaneBox. And you know me, I'm a fairly organized guy so far in the email category. And if I have any more than 20 or 30 emails in my box, and I started to discover that I was the albatross, I was the unicorn in the room, if you will, that nobody else, I work on my own. So I have no idea. I figured everybody's got like 10 or 15 or 20 emails in their inbox and they get all nervous. Strick, how many emails did you have in your inbox?
Oh, I had a total of 15,000 emails in my inbox.
Wait, there'd be a trail of poop from my room to my office every day because I'd be so nervous about what I was about to find when I got into my inbox. How can you have 15,000 emails? All of them unopened?
No. I only had 2,000 unopened.
Oh, well, that's a lot better.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean 2,000 emails unopened? At what point do you say enough is enough? So if you are a true believer in email management and you want to get in control and you want to have some sanity put back in your life, SaneBox is for you. We'll put the link in the show notes, but you've got to do this. 14-day free trial, I think, plus a $10 coupon. So basically your first month, I think, is on the house, is on the Nice Guys. So
yeah, it is. I mean, depending on which level you get, there's many different levels that you can sign up for, but you get a $10 credit if you click the link in the show notes.
Was Dmitry Leonov, he was from SaneBox, right? He was the guy that was recently on our show?
Yep.
Yeah, so go back and listen to the Dmitry Leonov episode. If you have not heard that, go back and listen to it. He does make fun of the fact that a lot of people have a lot of emails in their inbox. I know from Nice Guy community members that have reached out to me. I think, Prash, I think you reached out to me and you said something. I might be confused with the amount of emails that you had, but I think you thought when Strickland said that he had 9,000 or something like that in his inbox, that was a low number for you. he wears his email, his unopened and his emails in his inbox like a badge of honor. I got to go back and try to find the number, but I think it was many more than 9,000.
Yeah, Dimitri's episode was 211, and it was back it was only about a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so check it out. Dmitry Leonov, he was on the show. Okay, so the Nice Guys on Business promise statement, and I don't have it right in front of me. I'm going to see if I can go by memory, or no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find it. Here we go. It's to provide a learning experience. It's one fucking line. You figured I would learn it by now.
You would think.
The Nice Guys on Business promise statement is to deliver a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. We try to do that with each and every episode. Starting March 1st, we're actually going to really be adding value to your life because we're going to be adding a Patreon account onto our show. But anyway, if you don't feel like we're either entertaining or adding value to your life, could you let us know? Because we would like to do one or the other. And if we can't do... If there was an even balance of entertainment and value, which one would you like, Strick? Is it 50-50 or you want to go to like the 90-10?
I think entertainment provides value. So I don't know. I like entertainment. I find value in entertainment. So I think it's all good.
All right. Well, then we'll go 100% entertainment and add value to your life. And if we happen to actually throw some business rocking skills in there too, let's do that too.
There you go.
Okay. Let's do it. All right, if we don't do that, at DJ Doug is my Twitter handle, at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z is Strickland's, and there's my phone number is directly in the show notes too. Text me, call me, wine me, dine me, 69 me, whatever.
Don't tell his wife.
Just let me know how I can help you, speaking of those things. All right, what are we talking about today?
Let's see. Today we have the topics. Oops, where did it go? I had it up here and I just lost it. Here we go.
I love this new microphone I have. The microphone goes up and down, and I can stand and sit, and I can save my back. This is the best.
New boom.
Yeah, you gotta get one of these things.
Using the same mic though, right?
Yeah, same microphone but different adjustable arm. It's very cool. It's got like this shock mount. I got this whole system rigged. I know. Very, very cool. I'm no Jordan Harbinger, but I do have this really cool rigging. Anyway, I wanted to talk about what were some of the topics that we were going to chat about today.
Well, we got the internet making companies more of a service product provider, and the internet is allowing people to do their own research. How to become an expert? Why companies don't focus on people? And is college really necessary?
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about that in a second. But before we do that, can we talk about something a little bit lighter? I want to talk about the Amazon purchases. Do you have any info handy for that, or should I go on to the future guest list, wish list that I've put together?
So what you're saying is you gave me 4 topics and you don't want to get into any of them. You want to go on some 2 other completely different things.
Those were really serious topics, except that college one. I do want to expand upon that in a moment. But I did also send you that Amazon purchases, our download count, and our future guest wish list. I sent you that information as well.
I know. I'm just giving you shit. So the Amazon purchase of the week is easy because there was only one. It was a Samsung fast charging adapter travel charger. We made a total of 32 cents.
All right. Oh, that is really cool.
You're excited about 32 cents?
I'm excited that we're moving in the right direction. How about that, Strickland? How about positive energy, positive thoughts? How about thinking? Julie Reisler has taught you need to start changing the tapes that are going on in your head a little bit, don't you?
True. Good point. And actually, you know what? If I look at this, I think it says we were only paid for that one product, but it does look like there were 4 items ordered. So the other 3 items we may get paid for next week. So I really shouldn't be complaining.
But you don't know what those are, do you?
The ordered items? I don't know. Simple Human Bullet Open Trash Can, commercial grade. And,
that's nice. That's an expensive one.
Oh, somebody ordered 3 of those.
Wow.
Oh, let's take a look at what that is.
I wonder who's opening an office.
I don't know. Maybe it's, hang on.
You're going to come up with a name?
Oh my God, no, this is like this is $120 trash can.
Wow, so it's $360
and somebody bought 3 of them. So hey, we'll make a couple of bucks next week.
$18 or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's Scott Miller.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe. So I put out a couple of tweets on Twitter, of course, and asking for a guest that would come on the show. So I have some really high pie in the sky kind of guests. One of them is Elon Musk. I really want to get Elon or Mr. Musk.
Mr. Musk.
I'm not sure. What kind of name is Musk? What's the origin of Musk?
I don't know. He is definitely foreign. He has an accent. I don't know where he's from though.
He's foreign. He has an accent.
Well, he's foreign like to Americans. I mean, it's all relative. He's not natively American.
Okay, before you quit while you're behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's just do that. So I put out a tweet. Elon Musk, have not heard back from Mr. Musk's office. Marie Forleo, nice guy community, man. Thank you so much for helping to really try to get her to respond. Actually, we did get a response from Marie Forleo's office. The response is not positive, but it's not negative either. They said they are very busy. They get a whole bunch of requests, and they are processing the requests in the priority order that they were received.
I've been seeing a lot of tweets about, hey, Marie, you need to get interviewed on the Nice Guys, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, so very much appreciate it. I think Marie's got a podcast that's going to be coming out, or maybe it just came out, or it's coming out very soon. And I know that she would like the additional promo, and I know it would be great for her to get the promo from a big listening audience now, because we are the number 2 podcast on Overcast. Maybe she will actually look at it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Doug, do you know where she could find a big listening audience? Because it's not here.
Wait, we do. We have a really, well, maybe not on iTunes.
No.
But we're a big listening audience.
Big is relative.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So Marie Forleo, we hope to have you on the show. However, let me say this, and we are just about here. Okay, we are now in negotiations with his people, John Laguerre, the CEO of T-Mobile, 3.4 million followers on Twitter.
Wow.
We have gotten positive confirmation that we are now at least in the chatting process. They wanted me to send a sample list of questions that I might ask John. They wanted some sample episodes.
Oh my God, they actually want sample episodes?
She asked me for a couple of links to the show, so I can't send the Tuesday or Thursday ones because I'm afraid we're a little too loose in our language.
Probably, yeah.
So, he
seems like a pretty loose kind of guy.
Yeah, he does seem like a loose guy. So I sent the Jeffrey Hazlett interview, and I sent the Ariana Huffington episode as well. I thought that those were 2 that were big names that were a little bit representative of what we can do. And even though Ariana's was a while back, it just shows that, hey, we can deal in a situation where somebody's literally sitting in a car and talking to us, because who knows where John is going to be calling us from.
Right.
But John Laguerre, he's got this whole process of how to deal with his staff and how to deal with customers, and a whole philosophy that I think is taking T-Mobile, right to the sky and doing such a great job with their customer service. So I thought he would be a good guy to have on the show. And Nice Guy community, again, thank you so much for helping us by reaching out to John, and maybe we could put Strick. Maybe we can put John's Twitter handle in the show notes as well.
Sure, we could totally do that.
And then I wanted to talk about a little bit how well we are doing in some of the fabulous ways on Overcast. I'm sorry, on Libsyn, which is our download count. So let me just take a quick look at our numbers here, just so everybody's got a little bit of understanding of what we've done. Okay, so right now we are at. Let's see, as of the date of this, I don't think it really matters as of the date of this, because that would be too hard to tell. The monthly totals, we were at almost 45,000 downloads in the month of January. This is Thursday's show. So let me look at the calendar. 23rd? 23rd?
Yeah.
That would be today. Today's date is the 23rd. We have 5 more days left in the month, and we are a little bit behind because it's only 28 days in this month. We really need to help to boost the show. I mean, we're doing great, but we were at 45,000 downloads last month. I don't know how we're going to accomplish that again this month. I'm scared.
It's crazy. You got to tell your friends. All of you Funkin' fans and listeners, please tell your friends.
Okay, so anyway, that's the housekeeping that I wanted to do, and let's get on to some of our topics now. Okay, so I want to talk about the importance of college.
Okay.
Because the more I'm thinking about it, I went back to a conversation that we had about my daughter in school to become to get her master's degree in music theory. Mm-hmm. And how I know that's probably not the number one thing on your priority scale is you're scheduled to go back to college for a music degree. Mm-hmm. Who is it that needs a degree? I would argue to say that I think that we need doctors to have degrees, right?
Yeah,
engineers, architects. I mean, they're building the infrastructure of our country and our world. Architects, you don't want them to put together a plan on something that looks good but can't really work. Mm-hmm. So who is it exactly that should have a college and a post-college degree?
It's so tough because there's so many jobs out there, professional jobs now, where they put on the resume or they put out there college degree required, even if it seems like a job that doesn't necessarily require a degree, or if you don't have to have a degree specifically in that, whatever the focus area is. But it is a tough balance because so many of those say they require it, but really, for me personally, right, what I got out of college, I got a lot socially out of college, right? I mean, I was happy that I went socially, but education-wise, no, I didn't learn shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have to go from a social perspective. It's where you learn how to communicate, how to network. So, is college really meant more for that? I mean, do we have to really shouldn't we just have like gathering places for stuff like that instead of college? Why are we paying this to let's put our 18-year-olds in a group environment, but you got to give them the structure of something like a teacher or a class, or they're just going to go, every one of them is going to just become a professional in drinking.
Well, I think the biggest reason that it's really such an issue, I think, right now is because of the cost. I mean,
cost.
When I went to college, it really wasn't that expensive, but I mean, now, if you just go to your local in-state college, most of them, you're looking at 10 to 15 grand a year, and that is often without like on-campus housing. That's just taking the classes. So, I mean, at a 4-year college, at your state college, it's going to cost you 50 or 60 grand. And if you want them to live on campus, then, it's even more.
Okay, so if we're talking about just a typical 18-year-old or 17 or however old you are when you go to college, let's say, somebody that's just getting out of high school, you go to college, you maybe take a year off and you go back to school, or you go to college after you take the year off. 4 years of college, which is about how long it takes to get through the traditional college education. 4 years, 50 grand a year, $160,000. 200. Sorry, my math isn't so good. I didn't go to college. See, I went to college.
Yeah. 50 grand a year is going to be private, nice colleges. So that's the higher end. But okay, go ahead.
Okay, so take a state institution, $20,000. My son goes to Towson, and that's a local.
That's where I went to school, Towson.
Yeah,
what do they charge now? I'm curious.
I think they charge $21,000. Let's just say it's $20,000.
Okay.
So 20 grand, it's $80,000 over 4 years. And when you get out, what kind of job are you getting? Are you getting a job how quickly can you pay that off? I know people that are 10 years, 15 years out of school, and they're still paying for their college education.
Right. No, it's so true.
That's a lot of money. So I guess the question is, what do you do? Is it necessary to go to college? What are you learning in college? Should we revamp the way that we're thinking about college? Is college really more for school, or is it for a social experience? Are we looking at it and saying, are we molding our kids in what subject matter that they're going to learn? Because maybe you go into school with the idea of, I don't really know, maybe just business management. And you come out of your second year or your third year, you get inspired and you want to become a doctor. Now, I think somebody like a doctor should be, obviously it's going to be required that you have some level of certification, because how do you learn about all the things that you need to be in order to be a doctor?
No, it's true. I'm looking this up online right now, and it says public 4-year college in-state students averaged $9,400 per year.
I'm just going to say that's probably just going to be tuition. That is not going to be to live at the school too. Because
no, totally. Yearly tuition and fees, which again, I think is on the low end. I mean, I don't know. We're in an expensive area in Maryland and the DC area, so ours are definitely on the high. But let's say the average is almost $10,000 a year just for tuition and fees, not including living on campus.
Right, not including room and board. So you're going to spend about $20,000 in order to go to a fairly small, not hugely great, amazing education, and that's going to be the even more expensive. So $50,000 to get it. My daughter went out of state to a state institution, and that school was in the mid 30s. So she spent $150,000 to get her education, and then she goes back. I think it's $60,000 for her to get her master's degree.
Right. Yeah, that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
So the question is, at what point do you say, okay, this is going to be more about a social experience. It's going to be less about the learning. I look at it and I say, what did I actually learn that I'm using as a part of anything that I learned in college is now so outdated that we never, what are you learning when you're in college?
Even when I was there, I felt like, oh yeah, there's like bits and pieces of things that are good and helpful, but overall, no, especially nowadays, because they have these specialty schools, like let's say TEST, right? TESST.
What's that?
I don't know all about it.
I don't mean what it stands for, but what is it?
Well, it's like I think it's engineer. Hang on, you know what? Because I don't really know. Here, TEST College of Technology.
So on the other side of it, and I'll let you look that up, but on the other side of it, so what do we have? On the other side, we have a student that gets out of college with a 4-year degree, a 4-year education. They've spent a lot of money, and I still think that they're in a position where they can't get a job.
Right. No, that's it.
So would it have been better that they spent the 4 years living in a group environment where they're learning some social skills? They start to I don't know. I look at it and say from an entrepreneur standpoint, it would be I'd much rather have them in a think tank or in an incubator where they're learning to do the things that they really love, being taught by other people that are in that same category. My son wants to be a graphic designer. Would it make more sense for my son to be sitting in a classroom learning gen ed classes for the first 2 years? Mm-hmm. Okay, again, first 2 years, $40,000. Right. So that's 20,000 times 2, $40,000. The second 2 years, really not till the fourth year, he's going to be a senior. In his fourth year, he's going to learn finally the stuff that is really going to be what he's all about, which is graphic design.
And by the way, he's going to learn from professors, most of whom are not in the real world. So they're not actually doing graphic design. And so they may be teaching from techniques that are from 5 or 8 or 10 years ago. And in graphic design, that's an eternity.
Okay, so the other side of it is, why don't we put together, and again, this may already exist, I have no idea, and Eat, Sleep, Drink, Dubai, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just throwing this out there. Maybe it's already out there. I'm not reviewing this. How about doing this? How about a company like, I don't know, give me a company like Google. A company like Google takes part of their workforce and turns them into, and maybe this already exists, into trainers. And those trainers are being paid, and the kids are being paid too, because they're going to be part of the workforce that Google brings up the line. So these kids go to a place that is sponsored by Google. Google is paying for the trainers to go there. They're using techniques that Google uses, and they're being trained in the trade that they want to work in. So my son, for example, instead of sitting in a classroom and learning by a professor that's not actually doing, he's being trained by people that are actually in the workforce, actually doing what they're training them to do. And then when they get out, there is a potential guarantee of a job to work for Google in this particular case, because that's the company that trained him.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's called an internship.
It's got to be okay. So that's fine. If that's called an internship, that's great. I know that that's part of an internship. Is like, I think it's 1 semester of my son's entire college career. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, he's supposed to be better at it, and he's supposed to go out there to the world and get a job based upon the stuff that he's learned in school, which potentially could be outdated, plus the stuff that he's learning at his internship. And we all have seen internships go really well, haven't we? Internships aren't necessarily like take the kid and put him in a corner somewhere. Hey kid, go get me coffee.
When I was in school, I was a communications major, and so one of the things that I learned was video editing, right? So it was TV production, radio production, video production, that kind of thing, right? And a couple of years later, I actually ended up getting a job in video editing, and I learned more in my first 2 weeks actually on the job than I learned in the last 2 years of college, and it is just a broken system. So the test college that I was talking about, I thought it was national, but it is actually specific to Baltimore. But it is a focused technology college. Okay, they have a couple of different programs. It is either allied health medical assistant, information technology, computer support tech, electrician trade, heating trade, ventilation trade, criminal justice. But that's it. These are specific. It's not a four-year college, right?
Right.
Basically, they say, look, we're not going to mess with 2 years of core bullshit courses, which you took in high school anyway. We're just going further with it, right? We are going to take 1 year or 6 months. I don't know how long these programs are, but and we're going to do nothing but focus on making you an electrician or teaching you criminal justice or making you a medical assistant. It makes so much more sense to me.
Now take that out to the next level, though, because the things that you just mentioned, the career opportunities that you just mentioned, are and again, maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, but aren't those typically the type of courses that are like in those VOTEC schools?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like auto mechanic and nurse tech, and what were the other things that you mentioned?
No, that's it exactly. But the question is, ultimately, what do you want to do, right? So let's say that I want to get into something heavy duty with computers, right? Like maybe I want to be the head of IT somewhere, right? Well, to me, what better way to start than learning how to be a computer support technician or a network tech? I mean, you have to start at the bottom, right? I mean, you're not going to go to a four-year college and then just be the director of IT immediately.
No, I get it, but I think that the people that are looking at those particular types of schools, the vocational schools, I think they look at it, and the companies that look at those people that are coming out of that school, I think they look at them at a different level, and I think it's not good that they look. I think they should respect what the kids are doing that are going to school at that level and coming out. But oftentimes, I think that they're looking at it and saying, I mean, is a company like Google looking at the VOTEC schools for their IT people? I don't think so.
But that's only because they don't have to, because they have such a big pool to pull from. I mean, that's the question. What do you want to do with your life, right? And that's the hard part, because there's such a huge wide range of what somebody might want to do and what's the best way to get there. Google's such a tough example because they really are. I mean, how many companies out there have way more people applying than they need?
Okay, so let's use a smaller example. My brother Richard, he has a small webcasting company. When I say small, it probably has, I don't know, 30 or 35 or 40 employees as a part of his company. Now, they wouldn't have the resources to have a person that would go and educate the next generation of people that would work in video production at their company. However, they have the ability to train. If they took somebody under their wing, it's almost like, do you take a chance on the youth today? Millennials, do you take a chance? No, I think it's even earlier. What's the after millennials?
No, because the millennials now are like high 16, school
17. Yeah. Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you take a chance? Are they worth the risk? Are they worth the risk?
That's, to me, what internships are all about. And most of them are done through colleges, but maybe we should expand that a bit, because the way I see, at least the best way to make an internship work, is you find somebody that's not experienced and you either don't pay them or you pay them shit money and basically say, look, you're going to be a gopher because we're going to train you, right? But yes, you don't just make them get coffee. You actually have to teach them the trade. Right. And what's great about that is you make a commitment, let's say 3 months or 4 months, a semester, right? And so you commit to the youth for 4 months. Now, at the end of 4 months, if you don't think they're good enough, no big deal. You're going to cut them loose anyway. You're planning on cutting them loose. If they're good, you have somebody that already knows your ways. You have somebody that knows, that fits in with your culture and is going to do a good job. So you just keep them on. To me, it's just such a great way to do things. I don't know why we don't do more of it.
Well, and how about we're looking at, again, this is the big part, the part where this whole conversation started. You're not having someone spend $20,000 a year to go to school to get this.
Right.
I think that there's an important part of the learning process that high school, junior high or middle school, elementary school, that they offer. I think that it teaches the kids a lot of. I'm not trying to get rid of school, to get rid of all education. I think that the next step, though, because we have such a fucked up system with the cost, I think people oftentimes will shy away from going to college because of the cost. The other thing that happens is that you have this level of kids, and there are many kids that are in this country that don't go to college just because of the cost alone, which completely will bump them out of the ability to get a job.
Right.
And I don't, if they, what is it called? What's an apprenticeship. So when you have an electrician does an apprenticeship to get somebody that wants to become an electrician, that's like the shape of what I see as like IT and graphic design and a bunch of different things that really do need a lot of hands-on training. You can't become a graphic designer unless you have a very, very good working knowledge of how a computer works.
Right, but we all know that the best way to become a better graphic designer, the better electrician, is to just do it over and over and over again. And to me, an apprenticeship or an internship is so the perfect way to do that, because you're going to offer somebody, let's say, no wage or shit wage, right? Well, immediately, if you have somebody that's going to show up every day for short money or no money, right off the bat, they're dedicated, right? And that's a big part of it. I mean, if you don't have somebody that really wants to be there, screw them. You don't want them anyway. So you get the first step right out of the way. If somebody shows up every day, you know that they've got the right attitude and they're hungry. And that means that they probably want to learn. And then again, at the end of it, there's no commitment. Because the understanding is that after 4 months, you're done. If you like them, you keep them. If you don't, then it's not like you have to worry about firing somebody or you took this so much time to train them or whatever. You know what? The plan was to let them go right from the start.
And I think it comes down to really the idea that companies need to focus more, and this was one of the topics that I was going to talk about too, but it really does lend perfectly well into this category, is that why don't companies focus more on their people? Because if they focus more on the training, if they focus more on the understanding that a smart workforce or a workforce that understands how to do their job better, not rather than just be a whole bunch of people getting ready and pushing paper through I don't think companies going to building their company with the intent that they're going to have some paper pushers, and they want everybody to pull their weight, right?
Well, this gets back to your question of put them in order: customers, product, systems, and employees. Right. I am firmly in the group, the class, the belief that employees are the number one thing because it feeds all the rest. Again, this is just my opinion. If you have the right people, I think we talked about Netflix at one time. Netflix has almost no rules, right? If you get hired at Netflix, there's not a handbook of what you do and what you don't do, because they're presuming that they are hiring people that know the right thing to do, are going to do the right thing, are going to do the right thing for their company. You don't even get vacation time at Netflix, at least not preset vacation time, because you take whatever vacation you feel you need, and the company is confident that you are going to do what is best for the company. I mean, that's just amazing. When you have to write some huge book of the rules of what to do and what not to do,
those rules are only being applied to the people that don't know how to follow the rules. If you know how to follow the rules, then you're going to be okay.
That is the core of it right there. If all of your people know the right thing to do, you don't need to set the rules. And if you have to have some huge book because so many people break the rules, you have the wrong people.
Okay, so it gets into a whole deeper line of subject, which is really all about it comes down to people, it comes down to companies, it comes down to how we're educating the people that are coming up through the process. And man, I just think there's got to be something changed with the system. This is the second show this week that we said there needs to be a disruption in something. The Tuesday show we talked about the delivery system, right? Because that is a totally messed up system. How things get delivered in the U.S. totally messed up. How we educate our kids, I really do think. Again, I'm not getting political here. I think that if we leave everything right now from the preschool to being a senior, to 12th grade, if we just leave that out of the equation for a moment, I think that beyond that, I think there's a lot more choices that people have to make. And I think that we put a lot of emphasis on college. And I'm not saying college isn't necessary. I just think there's got to be a change to the system that's in place, because I just think it's bad. I just think it's not good. It's cost too much money, and priorities are horrible.
Well, but you know what's interesting? The whole core of it, at least for me, and you know me, I am very much a cost versus benefit kind of guy. It is about the cost. And really, if it cost half as much as it does, right? Like even if it costs $5,000 a year or $10,000 a year, you know what? I'd be way more for it just from the social perspective, from the general learning perspective. But man, at 20 grand a year, you really got to start questioning it.
Sponsor a kid. That's what it comes down to. Sponsor a kid. Take them through all 4. Oh, that's called his parents. If you sponsor a kid, take him through all 4 years of his education. I think that indentured servitude, I think it's the way to go. Got to be something. I mean, we're not going to resolve this today, but I just thought it was a subject that was worth bantering back and forth about, because it is something that I think about a lot, because I know how much money my kids have spent on college, and I know how challenging. It's not just a challenge on the kids and they get out of school. It's also a challenge on the parents too, because we did our best to save as much as we can, but even that wasn't enough. So it still comes down to the kids having to save money. And then
I think about the debt that your daughter has. Oh my! Because I know what the potential income that she can make from what she wants to do is, right? And
it's bad.
She's not going to make what a doctor or a lawyer makes.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting about Rachel, and Rachel is a great student, and she will end up paying it back, but not because of the education that she has. I think that she's going through that because I think she thinks it's an important part of developing as an artist, but she's also an entrepreneur at heart, and she's going to make it back because she's going to kick ass getting out and getting students of her very own and tutoring, and she is going to build a business somehow in spite of the fact that she has this huge education.
But you know what's interesting? Like you just said that, right? Like, so for those of you who don't know, she has her master's in in music. She has her master's in music. So, and it's voice and it's music. And really as a voice teacher even as a, even if you get a professorship at a university, there's just not a ton of money to be made. But what's interesting is you're saying she's going to succeed because she's going to find some way entrepreneurially to make money from it. So what's interesting is the way she's going to make money will really only peripherally have to do with music. The method is going to be through business.
I think that along with Rachel, many other people are probably in the same boat. I think it's just not an attention getter from her to her parents or for anybody. I think in the world that we live in today, I think the fact that you have an advanced degree in anything is a little bit of an attention getter. I mean, meaning it will get you seen, not as an attention getter as in you're thirsty for attention, but because people tend to look at that as this is somebody totally dedicated to their field, we're going to pay them. I think beyond that, it's up to the student. It's up to the person that's applying for the job. She's going to have to negotiate her own way. But I still see it as Rachel's going to build a business in spite of her degree instead of because of her degree.
Right, and that's what's important. That's why I see it. We are 37 minutes into the episode, so we really should wrap it up because we ran long on Tuesday also. I know we've only got like 15 more topics to talk about, but we can do them next week. We didn't get to the 12 worries that every entrepreneur has either.
Okay, well, if you could put a link in the show notes, that would be great. 12 worries that every entrepreneur has or they're lying.
Yeah.
Nice guy community, never underestimate the value of nice and the power of nice. You ready to get out of here?
Yeah, Steve O'Brien, why don't you take us out of here?
For the nice guys on business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Because it's such a fine line between stupid and clever.